What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nova the Barber. We here checking in with another episode. And today we gonna talk about which trimmers I use to get them crispy lineups I be giving out every time. Let's check it out right after this.
Still want all the checks, collecting debt you niggas took from me. Chapin' season, breaking knee, don't try to look for me. Ducked off with a thought, I'm getting top and now she hooked to me.
Okay, we back. Before I start, make sure y'all hit the like, subscribe button, the notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. Let's get into it, man. Trimmer game. First, I want to talk about why trimmers is so important. All right, we got the clipper, we getting a nice fade, we getting a nice cut. We got a nice transition going on, but to show that transition off, what makes the transition pop and stand out is the line you give it, them crispy lines to see the transition in a, I don't know, for some reason it gives it a better transition once everything is lined up nice and tight. And with that, you have to use a trimmer. Now, when I first started, I was a name brand guy. Had to have all the name brand stuff. And this, especially Andis, was like big to me. But now that I'm gaining more experience in the game and learning about different clippers and what they do, these off brands is killing them, man. These off brands is getting good. But I do still use name brand and off brand. So I kind of swap between the two, and they all have their own purpose. So let's just get into it. First, we're gonna start off with, of course, a name brand. You got the Andis T Outliner cordless. These are my babies. I replaced it with a ceramic blade. I went and got the long tooth blade to go on this Andis cordless. I think they call these the GTX blades. The tooths are much longer than the usual Andis blade. The teeth are much shorter, but the teeth on this is longer, so I think it's a GTX blade. I put a ceramic cutting blade on the front side just so it will stay cool and don't heat up as fast, because you gotta keep hitting that line until it get crispy. You don't wanna press too hard and you don't wanna stay in one spot too long, but you have to keep going over it to get it super crispy. So I make sure I put the GTX blade on this. Now, before I had a regular Andis blade on this trimmer, and I must say it was hitting. It was hitting, man. One day I dropped it. Boop, blade broke. So I'm like, dang, I gotta figure out, do I want to go back to that regular blade? Which I had some backups, and I tried to put the regular Andis blade on the backup blade I had, but it just didn't hit the same as the one I had on there before. So I said, let me get a GTX blade to try. And plus, GTX blades work better with I'm noticing it's working better with longer and straighter hair. When you try to line up with this, it hit crispier with longer straight hair. People with more of a coil, curly hair, it get it sharp, but it just don't hit crispy. So these used to be my go-to. This is what I used all the time. This is what I used to always use. But after a while, I started giving up on it, man. So, I still use it. Depending on the client, I use it on certain clients, especially straight, long hair. And sometimes on curly, just depending on what I got going on. But now I'm working with 4 trimmers, so he went from the front of the bus all the way to the back. Let me tell you what I replaced them with. Bow! I know y'all seen these before. These be on all the commercials. They hit good. On the commercial, they hit good and everything. And when I first got this clipper, I didn't like it, because I like heavier clippers, but now I'm getting used to it being so light. I'm used to cutting with light clippers now. First, I used to only like heavy clippers because it just fit me better doing it that way. So I went with, I started using this. It hit, but it wasn't hitting. So then what I ended up finding out was how to modify this. And what you have to do is, they have these little springs up here in the front that hold the back blade, the bottom blade. And you have to, I'll make a video for it, but you have to use like some pliers, some needle nose pliers, not the regular ones, and kind of press up against them to get it to move this blade up, because it don't work like a regular Andis T outliner where you unscrew and you can use the blade setter to zero gap this. So to zero gap it, I had to use some needle nose pliers and push up on these springs to get it to match up just perfectly. And I mean, after I did that, and then I end up, this the original blade that came with it. After I sharpened it, these start hitting crazy. Like, these was like the best trimmers that I had. They was, I mean, super sharp lines. Like, every client, super sharp lines. Like, so this is what I was working with. So I had the Andis T outliners, and then I had these, and I was working with them, and still I use these. But now, after I got another trimmer, only because I work with so many trimmers, because I travel and I use cordless. So if I'm continuously doing cuts, like it's a spot I go to, I cut maybe like 7-8 people, and if they go out, now I gotta try to charge them, wait, and that's too time consuming. So what I want to do is keep 4 trimmers so I can swap in between them in case one go out. But definitely, I turned these now into like my mustache. I do the mustache, the beard sometimes with these, or I use them on kids, because even though they give you super sharp lines, they hit sharp, they don't, I don't know, they good against sensitive skin and everything. So I've been using these strictly for kids or people with sensitive skin, the back of their neck. I use it for that, or mostly the mustache and the beard. These is it. So then I'm like, I need another trimmer. And that's when I saw these bad boys. Bow. These are Chemis. Now they like the off-brand knockoff of the Andis T outliners, the cordless T outliners, but they are Chemi 1931s. And when I first got these, I hated these because I could not figure out how to modify them. I didn't know which blade. I didn't know I could switch the blade at first, so I was using the original blade, which it sucks. So I mean, after a while, I just kept playing with them, kept trying different things, and I knew the Andis T outliner blade to fit because it was the same blade. It was just a matter of how to get it to fit. So I had to make a couple adjustments. I'll make a video on this one too, because I can't totally remember. I ended up putting one of an old blade. As you can see, it's kind of losing this, because the older blades, they don't put this finish on there no more where they rust out, so it kind of started to rust. I end up cleaning the rust off, but it still left like stains on it. So what I did was I put the old Andis blade on it, and this is the short tooth one. The teeth on these is short. So once I figured out how to modify it, because you also have to use the needle nose pliers with this to make the blade. It's kind of like, well, they all made by Chemi, so same mechanisms to make it zero gap. You gotta use a needle nose plier to flatten them. And after so many trials and tribulations with these, I finally found the right blade to fit to it, and I also figured out how to make them hit sharp. So now they hit sharp. So these is like my backups. When these are like third in line in the back of the bus. These third, because I use these once the slim gold Chemi that I showed you, if them go out, or this next trimmer that I'm about to show you go out. But I mean, these get the job done just as well as the rest of them. They hit sharp. I figured out how to modify them, so they definitely stay in the arsenal. I just don't use them as much as I use the other 3. Last but not least, we got, similar to the slim Chemi, wow, it's the Buddha trimmer. Now, once I bought the slim, the first one, the gold, the Chemi gold, I kept seeing the Buddha, and I'm like, it's the same clipper, it's built the same, the mechanism is the same. I'm like, it's gotta hit sharp just like the other one. Now, I bought this off of somebody off the marketplace, caught a good steal for it. I paid $10 for it, and this one, you actually didn't have to use the needle nose pliers to get it to zero gap. It was kind of already zero gap. So I give them praise for the Buddha trimmer for having it already zero gap. It came zero gap. It was ready out the box. Now, the thing that I did have a problem with was the blade it came with. The blade it came with was so sharp. I mean, it was cut. I never really used it on clients. I kept testing it on myself, and it was cutting me up bad. I had scars on my hairline and like on my beard line. It was tearing people up. So I'm like, man, I had to do my research and figure out what blade was the replacement blade for this. And it ended up being the Andis Slimline Pros. Now, I had bought some Slimline Pros also off the marketplace recently, and when I bought them, they was running good. Them was my go-to trimmers. I was hitting everybody up with them trimmers. Pow, they was hitting sharp. And the battery life just started shrinking on me. So I gotta steal $10. I got my money's worth out of it because I cut plenty of heads to be able to replace the 10, but it was like I fell in love with them and they died on me. So now I'm working with the Buddha, and I put that blade that was on the Slimline Pro onto these. And when I tell you these hit. And one thing I do like about this trimmer is, unlike the Chemi Gold, it's got a little weight to it, so it's perfect for me. So now these are my go-tos. These are the number ones. This is what everybody's mostly getting lined up with. If you don't have sensitive skin, I'm lining you up with this. It's perfect. I learned to fall in love with this clipper. It lasts long, nice battery life. Like I said, with the Slimline Pro blade on there, it gets the job done. I'm gonna try to post some pictures of some cuts I did with this trimmer. Trust me, like the Buddha trimmer is the way to go. If you don't mind the body style and cutting with this slim body style, I'm telling you, this is the way to go. Like this trimmer is beautiful. I get so much stuff done with this trimmer, and it takes no adjustment. Like, that's what I like about it too. I didn't have to modify it at all besides put the Slimline Pro blade on there. Other than that, this was perfect out the box, and it lasts long, so I get the job done with this, man.